Hi, I'm Molly Peters. I'm sorry about my voice. I've been sick for the last week and a half. Suspensory ligament desmopathy, or desmitis, is the strain of the suspensory ligament. It is commonly found in racehorses, jumpers, and Western performance horses. This can cause mild to severe lameness. An acute case can cause light swelling, pain upon palpation, and localized heat. Typically, the suspensory desmopathy is diagnosed by ultrasounds, and with this, they look at the fiber patterns. The degree of abnormality generally affects the severity of the lameness. The suspensory ligament runs from the back of the knee down to the pasture, where it branches off and attaches in the front. This is a photo of the cross-section of a normal horse's leg and another one which had injury to the suspensory ligament. You can see how much smaller it is on a normal horse than it is on the injured horse right here. Horses with suspensory ligament desmopathy will typically display heat and inflammation, and depending on where the injury is, some horses may be more inflamed up towards the top of the origin, or they could be inflamed in the front if it's in the branch. They will also show lameness when they're trotted, or in a circle if it's less apparent, and you will be able to see it when they trot in a circle. I recently had a horse that this happened to, and what happened is when I was barrel racing with my horse, paycheck at an indoor arena, you run in and then you run out into the holding pen that's an enclosed building, and there was another person who wasn't paying attention, so my horse had to make a sharp turn, and he had to stop right in front of the wall and stopped very hard and ended up pulling his suspensory ligament. He was instantly almost three-legged, lame, and this is the horse I've never had be lame, because he was pretty tough. And this happened at 6 or 7 at night, and the vet came out at 6 o'clock in the morning, and you couldn't tell the difference between where his knee started and where his cannon bone was and where his ankle was. And there was also a 20-degree difference between his two legs, is how inflamed it got, just in a matter of hours. The diagnosis of suspensory ligament desmopathy can be done a number of different ways. The most common one that vets use is the ultrasound. In this photo, you can see how large it is right here in comparison. And then, typically the degree of the abnormality of the ultrasound affects the severity of the lameness. Another way, and kind of a sort of home remedy for diagnosing this, is palpation. To do this, you lift your horse's leg, as this photo shows, and you will lightly pinch from just below the knee all the way down to their ankle in small increments. If they have injured their suspensory, they will jump or even try and pull back if it hurts enough. And you will also need to palpate the injured or the non-injured leg. Some horses are so dead broke, though, that they won't show any reaction between the two if it's minor enough. And then another technique that vets use is called blocking. And it's a nerve block, so they don't feel the lameness and the pain. And so if you have a horse that has an injury in the branch of their foot, or of their suspensory ligament, then they won't show lameness after they've blocked from about the ankle down, But if you have a horse that has an injury towards the origin, the vet will have to block from the knee down, and that's how they can tell where it's at roughly. And another, I guess this is sort of like tell the difference by cost microscopically. Figure C is a normal like suspensory ligament. And you can see how smooth it looks in it. It looks nice and pretty, so to speak. But A is a microscope slide of a suspensory ligament that has been chronically injured. And you can see how rough it looks in it. And this is what makes it weak, because these fibers don't stick together like they should, like it does in figure C. Figure B is actually one that has been injured a few times, but not chronically like A has. But then when you're treating this, when you're treating a suspensory ligament arthritis, the most effective is rest and slowly rehabbing. This table shows what should be done each week, and from weeks 1 to 4, they should be an absolute stall rest. You know, they don't need to come out and play out in pasture, none of that. Weeks 5 to 8, they can be hand walked 10 minutes for twice a day. And then weeks 9 to 12, they can be walking in hand for 15 minutes twice a day, or ridden 15 minutes, like at a walk once a day. And then weeks 13 through 16, walking under the saddle for about a half hour and trotting in a very controlled trot if the healing is allowing for that. And then weeks 17 through 20, walking and trotting under the saddle, you know, still very controlled by increasing that trotting time. Weeks 21 through 24, walking, trotting, and again, a slow, controlled slope as possible, and then they can possibly be turned out if the ultrasound comes back and everything is the way it should be. After 24 weeks, this one kind of varies depending on the severity. They can gradually increase the exercise program and return to regular work. I guess the only problem that I have found with this in my experience with the horse, sometimes horses don't really, quote unquote, remember, they kind of forget that they're hurt. I guess this kind of became apparent to me when the first 2 weeks I let my horse out to roll and then put him back in a stall, and he tried to take off bucking, and he didn't really get away with that one, but I could not keep him in a stall for any longer than 2 or 3 weeks because he would buck and kick, or he wouldn't kick the stall, but just he was doing more injury to himself being in the stall than being out of it. And so I turned him out with my other horse, Rico. And I came to get Rico for a barrel race one day, and he saw me loading Rico in a trailer, and he must have figured out he was going to get left, and he totally ripped like 3 panels of our fencing off and just completely destroyed it, so I had to take him into the barrel race. And that horse stood there and watched the entire barrel race and did not move a muscle. These are 2 other treatments that they may not necessarily be the most cost effective, generally for people with deeper pocketbooks. Shockwave therapy is therapy that has been proven effective. Roughly 60% of horses that didn't heal or were injured, they responded very well to shockwave therapy and were able to return to full work. And the regimen for it is about every 2 weeks they receive the shockwave therapy with 1,000 and 2,000 shocks. And the shockwave therapy was proven most effective on the origin of the suspensory ligament instead of down in the branches. Another surgery is it's recommended, but it's very expensive. What they do is they split the ligament, and it helps with the regeneration of the injured tissue. And these are 4 other alternative treatments. They weren't necessarily discussed in the journal, but from my experience, with the exception of the Equiflex sleeve, they have proven to help even just with muscle soreness. And I kind of wonder if it would be something that would help suspensory ligaments, but there hasn't been a wide amount of research done on them. The Equiflex sleeve, it's the equivalent of standing wraps almost, but they can be left on for longer. I guess I wonder if it'd be beneficial for a long-term wellness and prevention of suspensory ligaments, since horses that are horses that have injured their suspensory ligament are very likely to do it again, since that tissue doesn't heal the way back to the original form. The Equiflex sleeve, it's obviously a sleeve that just slides over the horse's leg, and it aids in support and compression. So even if it's something that you can put on in a trailer to help prevent the stress on that ligament, that might keep it from being hurt again or hurt as often. The TheraPlate up here, it's an aluminum plate that vibrates, and it's got a rubber mat over top. And the TheraPlate, I have even used this on myself, so it's something that's viable in humans too. It has been proven to heal high suspensory injuries because it triggers regrowth and everything. It increases circulation and the bone density, and it has also been proven to help heal laminitis and pounder. And there's been research done, but not very in-depth specific research. So it's a very interesting subject to me. And then down here we have the magnetic therapy. All of these little black dots on this blanket are magnetics, and they also make Hawk magnetic wraps, leg wraps, belt loops, about anything you can imagine with magnets on it. And they are very specifically and strategically placed on the neuromuscular points. These are points where the nerves cross very close to the external openings, or the external body. I use magnetics and magnetic blankets in the trailer just on a wholly regular basis, but I used my magnetic quilts for the first 4 weeks when my horse was hurt, and I really think it made a difference in how he healed and recovered. Because what I did is I did 12 hours on and 12 hours off. Magnets aren't necessarily something that you want to leave on for days on end. And he was back running in 5.5 months, and everywhere I have read said that it should at least be 6 to 9 months before any horse is running. Magnetics, they help increase the cellular oxygen, and they reduce fluid, and they speed up the biological healing. and it reduces inflammation and pain. There are two main ways that magnets work. A positive magnetic field causes stress, which raises the endorphin level and ultimately relieves the pain. But the other way is a negative field that is anti-stressful, which replaces acid hypoxia, and that causes pain with alkaline hyperoxia that relieves pain. So, I mean, there's two different ways it can work. I don't know which way would be best for a suspensory ligament. And then over here we have the Back on Track products. They also make about everything imaginable as far as leg wraps, hot wraps, whole 9 yards. These products are ceramic products, which it sounds a little bit confusing, but the ceramic particles are melted into the fibers of the products, and those fibers reflect heat. And there's the long wave infrared heat radiation increases the blood circulation, and this reduces the muscle tension and it aids in injury prevention. So that might be more something that you would use after the initial injury. Because I know when I used it on my horse while he was hurt, it just seemed like that leg even bigger and hotter. But the theory behind it is that it might get big and inflamed, or not necessarily inflamed, but swell. But then when it goes down, like shrink down smaller than what it originally was. Suspensory ligament desmopathy can either just be a minor setback for horses, or it can be career ending. Horses may be out for upwards of a year or just a few months. There are many different rehab therapies and rehab regimens that are effective, but it entirely depends on how much you're wanting to spend on it. The alternative therapies are generally cheaper, and you can use them longer than what you could with surgery, like a magnetic blanket. You can use that for years. The suspensory is kind of a one-time fix. And above all, rest is the biggest thing that horses need to recover from suspensory ligament desmopathy.